The next bill that we're going to take up is House Bill 530 by Representative Reese. I'd like to recognize Representative Reese for an explanation of his legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I am happy to offer House Bill 530 this morning for consideration by this committee. This bill is the product of several months of communication between various stakeholders in education. Ultimately, this bill targets three areas as they pertain to charter and cyber charter education in the Commonwealth. The first effort was to provide immediate relief to our school districts by adding 2 additional deductions on the 363 report. This language will allow school districts to deduct expenditures for food services along with previous school year's cyber school costs. Research has indicated this will save our public school districts roughly $25 million per year. This bill then goes a step further and seeks to make some long-term corrections. The Charter School Funding Advisory Commission will be established, which includes participation from the Department of Education, the State Board of Education, legislators, and appointees that represent the interests of charter schools, cyber charters, and school districts. The Commission will be tasked in identifying appropriate funding formulas for these institutions, as well as considering school performance. Finally, the bill improves current charter school laws by improving transparency and ethics standards as they relate to charter school trustees and administrators. An unassigned fund balance limit will be established, similar to the limits that traditional school districts must follow. Charter schools will be paid directly by the Department of Education to increase efficiency. And lastly, the bill seeks to strengthen charter schools by establishing a performance matrix and addresses matters of truancy. House Bill 530 is a very broad bill and addresses a variety of needs. It was crafted with the input of education professionals along with other legislators. I believe it to be a very fair and nonpartisan piece of legislation, and I hope the committee will consider passing this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We are in a proxy for Representative Christiana as well now to add it to the roll. All right. At this point, to recognize Representative Longetti for, I believe he's offering Amendment A00201. Representative Longetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What this amendment does is simply restores language that was in the predecessor bill that we took up last session, House Bill 618, relative to the Charter School Funding Advisory Commission. And essentially what it does is it puts back language that would have the governor convene that commission and then make a number of appointments to that commission. As the language reads in the bill, that has been changed to the state board, and so my amendment puts it back to the governor. I think the importance of it is this is a serious commission, and we want it to have the best opportunity to be successful. And I think the best opportunity to make it successful is to keep the governor in that process. If we substitute the state board for the governor, I think that it has less of an opportunity to be successful and to actually get something that is implemented. And so that is why I want to return the language to the language that we had in the bill in the previous session. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Recognize Representative Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I very much appreciate the gentleman's thoughts on this. Respectfully, I disagree. I think the state board is the appropriate place for this language. The 21 members represent a very diverse background. And of course, the legislature has some input because our 4 chairmen of the different caucuses of the Education Committee serve on that board, including Chairman Roebuck and Chairman Saylor. I think there's a level of expertise with the state board that is needed in making this appointment. So for those reasons, I respectfully ask for a no vote on the amendment.
Would you like? Anybody else have comments on the amendment? Chairman Roebuck?
I haven't heard my colleagues' comments. I'm curious if you could give us some examples where the state board is personally engaged with charter schools.
In in general, they set education policy in the Commonwealth. I can't give you a specific example of where they interact with charter schools, but again, as you know, serving on that board, they certainly interact with education policy.
Well, you know, I ask that in part because I do serve on the state board, and I'm not aware that charter schools have been a focal point of, at this level of where there's been, the state board has played a role, as you're proposing to have them play here. That role has in fact been done as the original legislation proposed at a different place and a different level. And I think you're asking the state board to do something that's traditionally not done, and I don't understand why that now becomes the necessity in this legislation.
Mr. Chairman, as you know, serving on that board, the state board sets academic policy for the entire Commonwealth. I think it's completely appropriate to have them in this language.
Representative Longetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, once again, I think it's just critically important that the commission be formed in the most legitimate and best way to be successful. When we look at the language, we see that for the House and Senate members, the Speaker of the House will have 4 appointees. The pro tem of the Senate will have 4 appointees, but the governor will have 0 appointees, although the governor does have the Secretary of Education on the commission, and the state board chairman is on the commission as well. But I just think that we're setting ourselves up for a process that will not be perceived as serious as it should be by taking away appointments from the governor. And I guess I would note that last session, when this bill hit the House floor, I think it was 132 members that supported it, with the governor making those appointments. And so I applaud the gentleman for his legislation, but I think we would be best served if we would return to that language and have the governor have appointments, just like we have the Speaker of the House have appointments, just like we have the President Pro Tem of the Senate have appointments. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Longetti. At this time, I just asked for a negative vote on the amendment, so we will call the roll on the amendment.
Chairman Saylor.
No.
Brown. No. Christiana.
Proxy, no.
English. No. Gillen.
No.
Grove.
No.
Lewis.
No.
O'Neill. Phillips Hill. No. Quigley.
Proxy, no.
Rapp.
No.
Reese.
No.
Stats.
No.
Tallman.
No.
Tobash.
No.
Truitt.
No.
Chairman Roebuck.
Yes?
Carroll.
Yes.
Conklin.
Yes.
Parkins.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Longetti.
Yes.
Miller. Mullery.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Santrasiero.
Yes.
Schreiber.
Yes.
Okay,
15 nays, 10 yeas.
Okay, the amendment is defeated. We'll move on to Representative Harkins for Amendment A00202. Representative Harkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This partners with 618 also from last session. Part number 1 and part number 3 were actually in the bill at the time. Part number 2 was not in the bill, but I believe it's needed. Overall, it removes the duty to create a standard application for charter applicants, a standard charter school entity enrollment form, and 3, a standard application form for multiple charter school organizations from the State Board in consultation with the Department of Education, and gives that power to create these forms solely to PDE. It also requires that the standard application form for charter applicants be placed on the PDE's website rather than the State Board's website. And historically, again, the State Board never really had a hand in the charter school system. I think this would add to that. Thank you.
Representative Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I very much respect the gentleman's opinion on this. I think the State Board is an appropriate place for this language. I think they represent a variety of different interests throughout the Commonwealth and ultimately have a level of expertise that will allow them to do this job properly. Therefore, I respectfully request a no vote on the amendment.
Mr. Harkins, any more comments?
That's
Okay. At this time, the chairman again would ask for a negative vote on the amendment. Will you please call the roll?
Chairman Saylor,
No.
Brown. Christiana,
Proxy, no, I'm sorry.
English. Gillen. Grove. Lewis. O'Neill. Phillips Hill. Quigley.
Proxy, no.
Rapp. Reese. Stats. Tallman. Tobash. Truitt. Chairman Roebuck.
Yes.
Carroll. Conklin. Harkins. Kim. Longjetti. Mullery. O'Brien. Sanderciero. Schreiber. Again, 15 nays, 10 yeas.
And the amendment is defeated. We'll move on to the bill itself. Is there any further discussions on the bill as it is? Seeing none, do I have any negative votes on the bill to report the bill?
What happened?
Or motion, I'm sorry. Any motion? Yes. Negative vote. We're going to do motion. I do the motion first. I'm getting ahead of myself. Motion by Representative Reese, seconded by Seth Grove. Representative Grove. Now, you want to please call the roll, please.
Chairman Saylor,
Yes.
Brown. Christiana,
Proxy, yes.
English. Gillen. Grove. Lewis. Phillips Hill. Quigley.
Proxy, yes.
Rapp. Reese.
Too much
Stats.
power there.
Tallman. Tobash. Truitt. Chairman Roebuck.
No.
Carroll. Conklin. Harkins. Kim. Longjetti. Mullery. O'Brien. Sanderciero. Schreiber. 15 yeas, 10 nays.
Okay. The bill's reported as it was presented. I want to thank Representative Reese for his commitment to work with everybody to put together a very good bill. Again, I think that, as chairman of the committee, that while we do have some disagreements on the bill as to what exactly it should contain, I have taken notice that there's nobody exactly doing cartwheels on any side of the issues here, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good compromise bill that we put forward that benefits everybody that's involved in the bill. This bill hopefully will go to the floor and pass to the Senate, and we'll see what the Senate does with it. But this issue has been around for a long time, and no movement's taken place on it. I think for the best interest of all of us in the Commonwealth and for our students, it's important that this bill move forward in some kind of reform that benefits everybody in the education community be accomplished. So I hope that this session will be able to achieve that with this bill becoming law, whatever that may be at some point in time when we work with our Senate colleagues. So again, I thank all members of the committee for their votes on this.